How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another Pokemon that got a move buff here in Season 16, and that is X-Scissor Dewott. Now, for those of you guys who have not heard, X-Scissor is now a clone of the move Surf, which means it does 40 energy for 65 damage, and honestly, that is a big improvement to what it was previously, because previously it was very cheap, only 35 energy, but only 45 damage, so it was just kind of underwhelming all around. And now that extra damage output for just a slight energy increase makes Pokemon like Dewott a lot more viable in the Open Great League. Now, Dewott is still basically just a strictly worse version of Samurott. I don't think you have to build it. And the reason for that is just because if you look at the charge moves, Samurott has Hydro Cannon and Mega Horn, and Dewott has Aqua Tail and X-Scissor, which are both just worse versions of Hydro Cannon and Mega Horn. But the nice thing about Dewott is it is extremely spammy, and it does have a slightly better stat product as well than the Samurott. So what you are about to see is some truly incredible wins with this team. Definitely a team for spice. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I had some wins in here where it just looked like there was absolutely no way for me to do it, yet I still managed to pull it off. So let's get into the battles here. Let's see what the newly buffed X-Scissor Dewott can do in the Open Great League as we lead into a Golisopod here in the first battle. So pretty neutral overall. The acrobatics obviously will be one-shotting, but as you're about to see, they are on Aerial Ace here, and Aerial Ace did get a buff as well, and it is very spammy, so they do actually Aerial Ace us and then switch out into a Toxapex, and it's actually really funny. When I was building this team, I didn't put that much thought into it, to be honest. I wanted to do the Samurott and the Dewott on the same team together, and I really wasn't thinking about the fact that water and poison basically fully core break this entire team. And wouldn't you know it, in the first battle with the team, the opponent switches in a Toxapex, and I was just like, I truly have no idea what to do here. I really couldn't stay with the Jumpluff, otherwise they just would have farmed me down. And as you're about to see, I double shield Sludge Waves here. I fully Fury Cutter them down, just barely, and I come out with 100 energy, but I have no shield, and I'm very low. And they bring back in the Golisopod here. Now, the nice thing is Mega Horn would nearly one-shot them, so we do get that shield right back, and we outpace them to an acrobatic. So if they want to keep this thing alive, they're going to have to give me their last shield. And at the very least here, we're going to get taken out by an Aerial Ace, but we did manage to get both shields back. But that Toxapex is still alive, I believe. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not alive, but they still have a very healthy Golisopod here. And yeah, because we farmed it down. What am I talking about? Obviously, the Toxapex is dead, but we still don't even know what's in the back. We do land the Mega Horn here, and there's an Oranguru in the back. And guys, oh my goodness, I could not pick anything better to potentially sweep here with the Dewott in the back. Because as you're going to see, Dewott does have a respectable amount of bulk. Now, if they were on Future Sight, we probably get one shot here, but they're on Psychic. We do actually live that. And we're going to get the Aqua Tail off just before we go down. And the question is, do they have a charge move banked? They do not. We Fury Cutter them down, and we take game one against a Toxapex somehow. And wow, very well played to the opponent there. Next battle, we have a Defense Deoxys lead, a shiny as well. And it looks like here the opponent is just going to Psycho Boost and then probably be dipping out here, which is totally fine by me. We have two good responses to this thing in the back. And they bring in, wouldn't you know it, another Toxapex. Folks, in the first set I played with this team, I saw two Toxapex, which I was like, after the first Toxapex that I barely won in the last battle, I was like, surely I won't see any more Toxapex, but wouldn't you know it, another one in the next battle. And this time I decided to play it a little bit differently. I actually do stay in, I throw a couple moves here, I get a shield off of them, and they go for the brine, and that allows me to switch out, bank some energy, and I should be able to get to a move here against that DD later, because I do still have a little bit of health left in my Jumpluff now. This is still not a great situation. Fortunately, I do actually correctly shield that Sludge Wave, but as you guys saw in the last battle, it is a very, very long resisted move beatdown for Samurott to take out this Toxapex. Fortunately, we do correctly shield another Sludge Wave, and here I recognize that it's safer just to go double Hydro. As you see, they do no-shield the first, so we could have Mega Horned them and probably one-shotted them, but the nice thing here is we're going to get the shield anyway, and we get some chip damage on them, which is very nice. They're going to be forced to throw, otherwise we would have made a third Hydro Cannon. And since I preserved that Jumpluff, I can now bring it in. They do win CMP, but we forced them to throw. And guys, if you're not seeing the writing on the wall here, as Home Slice Henry would say, the Dewott here is primed to 1v3 this team. We farm down that Deoxys all the way. They don't make a move. And now this is all going to be about perfect charge move timing. With a one-turn move, you're going to want to throw two Fury Cutters and then the move in the middle of their charm. And as you see, with perfect fast move timing here, we make it to the third Aqua Tail on CMP against this Shadow A9. We're going to take it out. And the Toxapex in the back is going to be outpaced by the very spammy Dewott. And again, we take out another Toxapex somehow with this team with a Dewott 1v3. So very well played to the opponent. I'm sure they were really mad about that one, to be honest, but good game nonetheless. And in the next battle, finally, we pick up a very dominant lead, Scrafty into Jumpluff, and the opponent is actually staying in here. And this is one thing that I found with the Jumpluff. For those of you guys who are long-term viewers of the channel, you'll have seen me run Jumpluff in the past. I really think this thing is actually a pretty good core breaker. Not one you see super often, just because there are a lot of steels and ice types out there, but the nice thing is, if the opponent has a fighter and a water type, Jumpluff is an absolutely devastating core breaker. It is very bulky, very spammy, and has very good charge moves as well. So I caught that acid spray. The Scrafty is actually on acid spray. I caught it onto the Dewott, and they go for another acid spray here, and this is going to allow us to get to another charge move. And Dewott here has gotten both shields. I guess the Jumpluff got one shield, but we've gotten both shields here, KO'd the Scrafty, and they've got an Azu in the back. We bring in the Jumpluff, we have switch advantage, they've got a Bastiodon in the back, and this is now just a good game. We've got 2 shields, and really, Samurott is easily making 2 Hydro Cannons before the Bastiodon even makes a Stone Edge. And all I have to do, actually maybe not before they make a Stone Edge, but either way, we can easily just give up 1 shield, make 2 more Hydros before they make another, and then it's going to be a shield advantage Jumpluff into that Azu, and this is going to be game over for the opponent. Switch advantage was massive there, and Dewott managed to clutch out the switch advantage for us there in the end game, or in the mid game, excuse me. And yeah, this is just a comfortable win here. At this point, what I was thinking is I'll just stay in and force them to throw, but I think the opponent actually makes a pretty nice play here. What they do is they actually commit to the farm down, and I kind of realized it pretty late. As you see there, I go Hydro, and then I realize I'm not getting to another move, so I go Mega Horn, but I had a lot of energy banked on the Jumpluff already, so even if they would have fully farmed me down, Azu cannot go back to back, and that chip damage from the Samurott there put it into Energy Ball range. We take it out, and we take game 3. Very well played to the opponent, and in the next battle, we see another really rough lead, a Shadow Scissor, and Shadow Scissor hits very, very hard. Shadow Scissor did actually get access to X-Scissor as well, that new upgrade. I mean, it had it already, but it has access to the newly buffed X-Scissor, but most of the time, they're just going to be on Night Slash and Iron Head. And as you see there, we switched into the Dewott. We took the move, and I believe they switched into a Cofagrigus here. Yes, they do switch into a Cofagrigus here. I cannot speak, but check this out, guys. Dewott is just so spammy. We make 3 Aqua Tails on 1 HP. I think they could have lived that, but they wanted to preserve some health, so they do commit a shield, and now we're going to bring back in the Jumpluff to absorb all this damage. Jumpluff, like I mentioned earlier, is extremely bulky, can take these charge moves for days, and Shadow Ball does get us fairly low, but we can easily just go for the Energy Ball here, and now we have a shield advantage for our Samurott, and hopefully they don't have a great answer to the Samurott and back. Now, they do bring in the Shadow Scissor. At this point, I still don't know what their final Pokemon is, so I do need to preserve some health, but they are staying in, and then they try to catch onto an A9, and honestly, we're going to throw anyway, so the catch doesn't really matter. But the nice thing is, we can overfarm here and throw and basically 2-shot this thing with Hydro Cannon. I didn't want to overfarm much more, because I didn't want to let those charms get me low enough to where the Scissor could just bullet punch me down. And now I am recognizing my win con, guys. In lifetime, I was counting here. I throw on good timing here, 1 Fury Cutter, and then the charge move. But my win con here is going to be to catch this move onto the Jumpluff, and we do so perfectly. It is 5 bullet punches to each Night Slash. We catch it. The opponent makes a very high-level play here. They fully undercharge it, but Jumpluff is just so bulky that we're able to withstand the bullet punches, and we live on very minimal HP, and we acrobatics the Scissor, and that is a GG. So very nice play there by the opponent to undercharge that. But fortunately, Jumpluff clutches it out for us there in the end game, and we win that battle. So we've got a Clefable here in the next battle, and this one is actually on Charm, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised to see a Clefable running Charm, but fortunately, Lifetime Nerds Rising does know his counts. He stayed in school, as Jamie Pitt would say, and we catch the Meteor Mash onto the Dewott. And I don't quite think this is going to be Aqua Tail range, but the opponent, as you're going to see, doesn't know that. They commit the shield, and Dewott is just so spammy. We make another Aqua Tail, and this probably will KO now since the Fury Cutters have added up. And we get the final shield. We now have a 2-0 shield advantage, and Samurott with shields down, guys, is just so good with the Mega Horn and the Hydro Cannon just being such good moves. We can one-shot quite a few things, or two-shot pretty much everything else. They've got a Steelix in the back. We actually made it to a move before the Clefable even made it to a second move. We still have 2 shields, and they've got Breaking Swipe Steelix in the back. And even with this Breaking Swipes buff here, or debuff, excuse me, we're still going to two-shot this thing with Hydro Cannons. And what is the opponent's final Pokemon going to be? We overfarm as much as we can, and can Samurott clutch this out in the end game? And there's an Obstagoon in the back. And at this point, our Jumpluff is still healthy enough to where we could have just let that go and saved 2 shields for the Jumpluff, but I wanted to land the move on the Samurott. I could have probably made the Mega Horn, but I decided just to play it safe. I land the move, and now I can just make the acrobatics here with the Jumpluff. This is just going to be a Night Slash, still not going to be enough to KO, and Jumpluff is going to take another dub here. Let's go. You love to see it. So, well played to the opponent there. Jumpluff proving to be a very good core breaker once again as we take that battle. So, next battle here, we have a Gligar lead. Pretty rough lead for us. Again, the Gligar does have the newly buffed Aerial Ace, and they bring in a Defense Deoxys to our Dewott. This is definitely not an answer to Dewott. And as you're about to see, guys, this is really where you see the damage difference there in X-Scissor. That X-Scissor puts the Deoxys deep into the yellow, putting them into Aqua Tail range, and we're just so outrageously spammy. We're already at another move. We get the shield, they Psycho Boost us, and now I'm thinking, can my good IV Dewott live this debuff Thunderbolt? And it absolutely can. On 1 HP, we farm down the DD. We have switch advantage. We have a move stored as well. What is their final Pokemon going to be? They bring back in the Gligar, and they probably easily live this Aqua Tail, but they commit the shield, and now we've got all shields down for Samurott. We've got switch advantage. We can align the Samurott to the Gligar, and this is looking really rough for the opponent. Unless they have something that core breaks the Jumpluff and the Samurott in the back, maybe like an Abomasnow or something. But even so, we land the move on the Gligar, and Samurott is just so incredibly spammy. Oh my gosh. We make the Hydro on the Steelix, and this is just game over now, guys. The Gligar does have a little bit of energy, but our Jumpluff is just so healthy. As you're going to see, Breaking Swipes just truly do not do a lot of damage here. Jumpluff is going to easily take out the Steelix, and that Gligar is so low in the back. What I'm going to do here actually is kind of a, I would say, unnecessary play overall, but it is a nice play. We undercharge this quite a bit to the point where we can farm down the Steelix, come out with the move, just to not take any chances that the Gligar had extra energy, and now we're going to Acrobatics the Gligar for the win with a shield still in play. Let's go. That's a good game. Well played to the opponent there. Next battle, we have the Dream Lead, Shadow Swampert on the lead, and they bring in a Skarmory. I was a little slow there, but Skarmory, especially now that it's so much slower, it's just really not a great pick. It's never been a great safe switch, but why somebody would switch it in, I'm not really sure. I just truly am surprised that we're still seeing Skarmorys, guys. Really, every Great League set I've played so far, I have seen quite a few Skarmorys. So maybe either people just didn't get the memo, or maybe they just don't have a lot of options. We are still fairly in the early season, I guess that could be as well. But I would be shocked if we see many Skarmorys later in the season once we start grinding Elo. And there, as you see, Samurott putting in a lot of work, showing why it is a better pick than Dewott. We take out the Skarmory comfortably, win CMP on the Swampert here to the Hydro Cannon, and we're just looking to be in a very dominant position now. We can still align this to the Jumpluff. They've got an A-Slash in the back, and now Dewott, unfortunately, since we're not running a high-hitting move like Hydro Cannon, we're not going to two-shot this thing. But what you're going to see here is Dewott has enough bulk to where we can pretty easily tank a Drill Run and not really be in danger of being Shadow Clawed down, and we're going to outpace them as well. Obviously, since we stayed in a little bit with the Jumpluff, we don't outpace them to that move, but we're going to get to another Aqua Tail, and they're all shields down, and at this point, they're going to be forced to throw. I still have a move banked on my Jumpluff, and as you're going to see, they tried to overfarm, recognizing they had to, because they had to have a move for that Jumpluff, and I'm able to outpace them there. We've got the Energy Ball banked for the Swampert, and that is going to be all she wrote in this game. And what do we have, guys? I think we're maybe like 3 or 4 battles left at this point, and we have a Sableye lead here, which is another very nice lead for Jumpluff, and again, the opponent is staying in. And like I said, Jumpluff core breaks quite a few teams. If you can keep this thing away from the Steel types or the Ice types, honestly, there are not that many things that want to see this. As you see, they switch into a Golisopod, not an answer to Jumpluff whatsoever, and we can easily just stay in here and massively pressure their shields. Now, I do overfarm there, recognize I would lose CMP, and they're actually on X-Scissor rather than being on Aerial Ace, which is totally fine by me. I can easily tank another X-Scissor, and I'm already going to potentially be forcing that last shield. I think at this point, I could live an X-Scissor, but the opponent is clearly extremely weak to this Jumpluff, so I'm actually just going to slightly overfarm here, take this thing out, and we're going to see what they come back in with. Do they bring back in the Sableye? Yes, they do bring it back in, and they're forced to throw. Otherwise, we would have made a move. And at this point, After some Fury Cutters, they're probably just about in Hydro Cannon range, so I bring the Samurott in. We will outpace them. Actually, no, because they overfarm nicely there, they do outpace us, but that is totally fine. We can tank one move, and they've got a Medicham in the back. And I'm actually really glad I didn't throw on the Sableye there, because now we can basically two-shot the Medicham here with the double Hydros, and aggressively bring in the Dewott, farm it down, and then X-Scissor the Sableye, and that's going to be a G to the G. The Dewott here easily tanks any one move. There I just overfarmed, recognizing they weren't getting to a return, and that's totally fine. They can throw the foul play at us if they want to, but X-Scissor does do slightly more raw damage, so we throw it, we KO the Sableye, and that is all she wrote. So very well played to the opponent there. Moving into the next battle here, what do we have? We have a Medicham lead, the Dream lead. Now, they can't hit us for double super effective with Ice Punch, but Jumpluff very easily lives one Ice Punch, and it doesn't really put us into a range where they can farm us down. It's pretty similar to the Altaria matchup, honestly. As you see, that just does slightly over half, and Acrobatics does actually not quite one-shot, as you're going to see. The crazy thing is, Medicham actually wins a zero shield against Jumpluff, which is really sad, honestly. Medicham is just so busted, but we were counting there, so we catch the move onto our Dewott. And at this point, X-Scissor does do a lot more damage than it used to, but it's still not enough to one-shot, and I don't really see a reason to shield this up at this point. Their Medicham is already low, but I'd rather just save the shields for the Samurott. We'll just bring back in the Jumpluff here, and we will get to our move before they get to theirs. And I think they're probably just about an Energy Ball range, so we'll just go for the Energy Ball here. Do they shield it? Yes, they actually do shield it. And now, guys, you already know I'm calling the bait. I've got two shields. No way they full send the Shadow Ball here. They throw the double resisted Seed Bomb. They catch nicely back onto the Medicham here, but this is totally fine because now we can come in and farm them all the way down here. And I think I make a mistake here. Honestly, what I should do, I should be throwing right before they make the next Seed Bomb just to preserve a shield. And as you're going to see, I elect to go down 2 shield. I am going to have a lot of energy coming out of here, but as you're going to see, I believe they have something in the back. Yeah, they have an Azu in the back anyway, so yeah, it didn't matter ultimately, regardless of what I did there yet. What I needed to do was probably maybe not throw right away and farm down that Medicham with the Jumpluff, because by wasting that Energy Ball on the Medicham, effectively I had no way to take out the Azu there, so yeah, ultimately didn't matter. They just had, that was actually one thing I found with this team, guys. I know I said in the intro not to use the team, but what I found is the worst thing for this backline to see, really, other than Toxapex obviously was terrible, but what was even worse for the team was an Azu. If the opponent had a shield advantage Azu, or just an Azu with a shield in the back anyway, and the Jumpluff was dead, there's just really no way, excuse me, to take out the Azu with the bug and water type damage. So as you saw here in this battle, we have a Galvantula lead. The Jumpluff did manage to get both shields from the Galvantula, and I bring in the Samurott now to take this thing out. We're debuffed. This will still KO. And what do they have in the back? They've got a Greninja. Oh my gosh. They try to catch the move onto a Carbink. I think they were a little early there, but now Samurott is going to destroy this Carbink. Unfortunately, we are debuffed, which means that we will not KO with 2 Hydro Cannons, but that is totally fine. What I'm actually going to do, I believe I actually let them take me out. Yeah, I let them take me out, and what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to come in with a Dewott here and basically massively overfarm. I think, do I massively overfarm? Yeah, massively overfarm, throw the Aqua Tail, and now I will be able to X-Scissor this Greninja. And as you're going to see, this is going to be another beautiful showcase of just how much better a move X-Scissor is, because previously, I don't think old X-Scissor non-stab KOs from here, but check this out. This is a pretty decent move now. We one-shot the Greninja with the X-Scissor, and that is a G to the G. Very well played to the opponent. And moving into the last 2 or 3 battles, guys, we have a Shadow Blaziken on the lead here. Shadow Blaziken is a very scary thing to see. Blaze Kick wouldn't one-shot us, but it would do a lot of damage, so I do respect it. My plan here is going to be to overfarm here, throw the Acrobatics, and then try to catch the next Blaziken kick, whatever I'm trying to say, onto the Dewott, and we do so perfectly. Now, this is still not amazing, because they could probably shield up and then counter me all the way down if they want to, but instead, they tried to catch the Aqua Tail onto a Sceptile. Do you think they know about the X-Scissor? They absolutely do not. We farm them down before they even make a charge move, guys, and Sceptile is super spammy there. That is crazy damage by the Dewott. And do they know about the Aqua Tail? No, they do not. The Dewott here has just taken out 2 full health Pokemon and gotten some chip damage onto that Azu in the back. And this game is now over. You guys might have seen this battle. I did make a short about it recently, but now all we're going to do here is just bring the Samurott into the Azu, make them throw their energy, and then it's going to be Jumpluff time. Jumpluff with a shield easily closes out this game. Now, 1 Energy Ball is not going to be KOing here, but 1 energy ball will put them into range where 1 more should KO. And for some reason, if they were to outpace my Jumpluff to 2 moves here, like if they get to another Ice Beam before I make 2 energy balls, that is totally fine because they'll be so low after this one that 1 move from the Samurott easily KOs them. So this was just game over for the opponent. Props to them for staying in there, but a couple nice catches, a couple Dewott surprises for the opponent, and we take that game in style. So moving into the next battle here, we have Golisopod on the lead once again. Pretty neutral, as you guys have seen. I would rather be the Jumpluff here for sure, because even though they outpace us and they could be running Aerial Ace, we do have that acrobatics that could potentially one-shot them. So they are on X-Scissor once again, and we do overfarm, and now we are full sending that acrobatics, and they try to call the energy ball. We one-shot them, and at this point, they stayed into a pretty neutral / maybe slightly negative lead, so I'm expecting them to be core broken by this thing, and they bring in a Mudshot Greedent, which by no means is a good answer to the Jumpluff. So again, I was calling there that they're probably even weaker in the back. If a Mudshot Greedent is their best answer to Jumpluff, they're probably going to be, I'm thinking probably fully core broken by the Jumpluff. So at this point, I was thinking it's probably going to be like a G-Fisk or maybe like another ground type in the back. So I pivot into the Dewott, and they actually are staying into this as well. And that tells me it's probably another ground type in the back. If they're weak to Jumpluff and Samurott, it basically has to be a ground type. So I like to bring in the Jumpluff here, recognizing I would outpace them. I was counting, obviously I'm not counting right now, I'm talking, but I was counting in lifetime, and they actually shielded that energy ball as well, and now they have just got to be so incredibly weak to this thing. I bring in the Samurott, they've got a Diggersby in the back, and unfortunately my entire team, all 3 of my Pokemon basically beat all 3 of their Pokemon, so just a hard counter but from the opponent there. Nothing really they could do, and we're moving into the final battle, guys. They have a Medicham lead, and again, the opponent is fully core broken by the Jumpluff. They have a Lantern. We land the energy ball. We get the defense drop as well. And this is actually not as bad of a matchup now for the Lantern. As you're seeing, the Sparks and Thunderbolts really add up now. Honestly, I'm not even going to complain too much, guys, but you know I've said it before. The Lantern debuff is truly really not a debuff. It's almost I almost would say it's a buff. Like, Lantern basically got buffed this season. But anyway, we do take out the Lantern. They bring back in the Medicham, and this is a slightly underleveled Medicham, so acrobatics would one-shot them. They do respect it, and at this point, we've got a shield advantage. We've gotten rid of the Lantern, and I was thinking that was probably their best answer to my water type, so I just decided to put 2 shields into Samurott and Dewott and see what they can do. We will shield this up, probably going to be a bait, but we should be able to shield and fully farm them all the way down. They do make another move. I think this is just an Ice Punch. Even my like half-assed paying attention right now knew that was just an Ice Punch, but I shielded it up. They've got a Lurantis in the back. Do they respect the Mega Horn? They do not. And we one-shot it. And that is going to be all she wrote, folks. So thank you so much for watching, guys. A little bit of a longer video today, but I had a lot of fun running Dewott. Again, I'm not going to tell you that you should build it. I think it is one move update away from being really, honestly, a meta threat, just like Samurott. Samurott is actually very good right now. If you don't have a Samurott, I would strongly recommend that. But yeah, Dewott just needs like Surf, Hydro Cannon, or maybe like a heavier hitting water type move. I'm not really sure what that would be, but Aqua Tail is just a little underwhelming. But that being said, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to come check me out on Discord, excuse me, the link will be in the description. If you want to send me in your battles for a feature on the channel, that link will be in the description as well. And keep in mind, start recording your battles for the top wins of the month. I will be doing that at the end of the season. And that being said, if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, if you're enjoying my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.